All right, let's react. We haven't reacted much in the last little bit. Is Star Citizen really open development in 2025? Was it ever really open development? Ever? Like, should I bring this up? I think I'm going to bring this up. I don't know if he's going to use it in the video. I have no idea. I have not seen this yet. But I'm going to bring up... Oh, nope. Not this. Not this. Oh, no, it is. Okay. It says the Pledge Store at the top, and I was like, wait, I wanted the Pledge, not the Pledge Store. This is something that CIG posted a really long time ago, and you'll see how funny it is. You've pledged your money to earn citizenship. Now it's our turn. We, the Star Citizen team at Cloud Imperium, hereby promise to deliver the game you expect. You, the tens of thousands of pledgers. We have allowed us to cut out the big publisher. Now we've become one, and build the game on our terms to let us focus on quality, free of the pressure to deliver by a certain financial quarter. They delivered quarterly. They delivered quarterly for so long. And now they are pressured to deliver to sell a ship every month. It's, oh my God. To nurture a new original IP. Okay. To put fun ahead of shareholder profits. A bullshit. We, the developer, intend to treat you with the same respect we would give a publisher. You will receive regular updates about the progress of the game. We will do a show and tell for each major milestone. Since we don't have any major milestones, they're not doing any show and tell, I guess. Your voice will be heard and represented in our development documents and our feature wish list. You will see art and video and learn about how we intend to implement gameplay mechanics well before the rest of the world. The website will be updated and the community will be maintained. Though the limitations of technology may slow us, and holy shit did they, we will always do the best for you. If it breaks, we will fix it. Oh my God, how ironic to be in this situation right now. Freight elevators, anyone? How long have we told you they were broken for? There may be delays and there may be changes. We recognize that such things are inevitable, and we would be lying to you if we claimed otherwise. Using this sentence here to like cop out of every single thing they've done wrong for 13 years in a row is fucking gold. But when this happens, we will treat you with the respect you deserve rather than spending your money on public relations. They do a lot of that. When we need to change a mechanic or alter something you believe should be in the game, we will tell you exactly why. Meanwhile, we have no idea why, what happened with co-op zones or whatever, right? Your support over the past month has been incredible. You've done your part, and now we will do our utmost to live up to your expectations. You're failing. We will build you the game you are dreaming about. Remember this? I want you to read this over and over and over again whenever they tell you that they're building Chris's game. Because they're not building your game. They're just building it for him. It's very obvious. All right. Now, we have a video from 10#42 that is titled, "Is Star Citizen Really Open Development in 2025?" I want you to take all the pledge in first before watching this. Because it's like yes and no, right? Well, that's my first thought. But let's see what his story is about it.
If you've ever watched any official content about...
I do not hear it. Do you hear it? Did my headphones die? I think you heard it. Hold on, my headphones died. I did not hear it. All right, they're back.
If you've ever watched any official content about Star Citizen, there is a good chance you would have heard the phrase open development.
Well, now you know it's really open development.
Open development.
Open development.
I thought this was open development. Why can't he show? What about open development? I'm like, what about surprises?
Open development.
Maintain open development.
We have a very open development.
You know, it's still part and parcel of open development and the Star Citizen process to show how our developers work and as much of their process as we can.
Since the beginning of the project, there has been this idea that CIG were going to do many things differently, which they obviously have. One key aspect was that they were going to show people behind the scenes, show a level of insight into game development that no other company had.
Would you argue they've done that? I think they have to a large extent.
There are many aspects of this project that deserve criticism.
Yeah, open doesn't mean
for
honest,
many
exactly.
Years, CIG have shown behind-the-scenes footage of devs working and explaining what was going on with the project. Many other companies do share their plans by maybe dropping a video update a few times a year or by writing a post or sharing a roadmap, but none has shared quite as much as Star Citizen has. Weekly
And like, I think it's pretty safe to argue that I don't know how positively. I think it's worked for them financially early on. Like, got people into. I don't know. Was it the open development part that got them as much money as they have, or was it the wild claims of what this game would be, and then creating the idea in the backers' heads of, or potential backers' heads of what this game would be, and then selling spaceships that feed into that, and then doing just enough to make the ship work in the game to continue to feed on that. I don't think it was the open development.
Pre-recorded shows and live streams, yearly conventions for a gaming developer.
But like, dude, that's open development. Like, showing these charts and explaining their decision making and how things are going to work and why they did it. Elliot going through the actual mission system process, that is open as fuck.
Live streams, yearly conventions for a gaming development, roadmap that was at one point fairly extensive, and loads of developers posting on the game's forums. But over the last few years, open development has started to feel, well, less open. Chris Roberts, Lord of Star Citizen and Squadron 42, has appeared less and less on video content, and now...
Good. This happens every year. You're like 9 months out of hearing from Chris, and you start to shake. You're getting withdrawals from the fucking cope. And you start thinking you want to hear from this guy, but you forget that every single time he speaks, he takes it too far and sells it too high and is dreaming out of his mind and over promises and under delivers and pisses everyone off. Every single time. But every time around this time of year, everybody is like, why? Where's Chris? Where's Chris? Everybody knows where Chris is. Not working on Star Citizen, working on Squadron. Everyone knows it. I don't know how you can't. He doesn't have his focus on this game. There's no way he did. I'm sure while he's at work or whatever, he's watching stream, like they say, I know this to be true. Watching streams, watching YouTube videos, kind of following along with what's going on and maybe communicating to the team about things that he likes, doesn't like, or whatever. But it's very obvious that this entire company, therefore the person who is running it, their focus is not on Star Citizen. Star Citizen is clearly in up hover mode, for a lack of a better term. They're waiting. They're treading water, staying alive long enough to get Squadron out to focus back on Star Citizen a little bit more. I don't know if they're going to go to Chapter 2 of Squadron or anything like that, how quickly. But, yeah. So, hopefully, that's what's happening here. And also, sorry for the pause, 10 pound. I'm sorry, man. I think it's very obvious as well the lack of ISCs is hurting so much. So much. But I think people are playing the game more than ever.
Really only communicates through rare written posts, letters from the chairman. That roadmap that I mentioned, well, it was gutted a couple of years ago. There was a little problem that kept happening. Every time something was delayed or removed from the roadmap, it caused community uproar. And eventually CIG came to the conclusion that it was just causing more hassle than it was worth. So instead of a release view that looked a whole year ahead, the current roadmap only looks at the next immediate patch. And so for backers of the project, it's hard to know what to expect more really than a month or so into the future.
Good. Good. Why would we argue that's bad? The problem wasn't when CIG removed something from the roadmap, people got upset. The problem was that CIG would say that something would be there and most of it would not happen. I bet you I can go back and look at a roadmap from 5 years ago and find something that they still haven't done.
And then to the big change this year, CIG's video content. Like I said, for a long time, CIG's video content was very frequent, often multiple things in a week. Backers of the game were constantly fed information and insight into the project in order to keep them engaged and excited about what was going on. Let's let Jared Huckabee, also known as Disco Lando, explain the history of Star Citizen's pre-recorded shows.
ISC began in April of 2019, and since then, we've managed to tell a variety of different stories about more aspects of game development than you're probably likely to find anywhere else. That's 200 episodes.
Which is something he's very proud of, and he probably should be, but I think it's been very clear that inside Star Citizen's strength is when they share what is actively currently being worked on next. What do we have to look forward to in the near future? Those videos have always been so good.
So far, including the one that you're watching right now, with no plans to stop or slow down in the future. But this journey didn't start in 2019. That's because ISC is only the latest form of a program that's nearly as old as our project. Before then, we were proud to bring you Around the Verse, the talk show at the end of the universe. First created by Ben Lesnick and Sandy Roberts, and hosted by an entire cavalcade of CIG developers filling in here and there, with segments that sometimes spawned into their own series like Bug Smashers, Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy, Ship Shape, and more. That was 228 episodes filled with a whole bunch of people that may not have always known what they were doing behind and sometimes in front of the camera, but doing everything we could to entertain, inform, and simply showcase the folks who make these video games that we're working on. But even they built their legacy on our first weekly behind-the-scenes talk show created by Eric Peterson and Michael Moreland called Wingman's Hangar, with Hangar with 2 A's. Old heads will know. 72 episodes of that set the foundation for CIG video content to come, even if some of it was just what we shouldn't do. Should I bring back?
Oh my God. Yeah. Does anybody remember this fucking guy? This is basically how every single idea in Star Citizen was drummed up.
Hazy thoughts? No? Okay. So, 72 episodes of Wingman's Hangar, 228 episodes of Around the Verse, and 200 episodes of Inside Star Citizen. That makes this show not only the 200th episode of Inside Star Citizen, but also the 500th episode in a legacy that we're very proud to maintain, and hopefully continue to improve upon for years to come.
We're now up to actually about...
It was horrible. It was great at the time. Like, you have to understand that the team was like 5 people. He was the art director. He was super chill, super cool, super engaging with the community. Just like a cool dude. And back then they had nothing but concept art and ideas. So it was more about the developer like personalities, like Wingman, like him. the interaction with the community. That's how Jared became who Jared is, because he was making videos. Oh my God, his name's escaping me, but he's more of like a cosplayer now for the game. But he was making like good videos back then as well. Oh my God, he's gonna be so mad at me. He's on a podcast. Oh, Kin Shadow, yeah. Just forgetting his name. Like, it's just been that many years, and now we're old. But yeah, like those guys, like it was different then. We were a community then, like an actual community. Now you got lots of content creators. You have people who hate them being super toxic. You have a publisher, right? You have like Star Citizen's basically Blizzard without the breast milk, and that's it. You know, like it's just different. So back then, like that video was like totally fine.
220 odd episodes. But when that episode was made in 2024, the video content was probably at its peak. And as Jared said, they had no plans to slow down, but they have slowed down. In 2025, CIG's video content has massively reduced. For ISC, Inside Star Citizen, in 2024, they had done 22 episodes by the end of July. In 2025, they've done 8 episodes by the end of July. For Star Citizen Live SCL, where...
You know why? Because they can't keep imagining. The open, like, we are mistaking imagine shit like 10 for the chairman for open development. Was it open because you actually got to ask a question to the CEO? Yes. But what was that CEO doing? Just saying yes to everything and doing shit that he shouldn't be doing. Like, that's it. That's not open development. Or it's not good. It's open development, but it's not good to do. And then this is something that, oh my God, I've been saying for so long too. The moment this game actually starts getting developed, which is kind of happening this year in a lot of ways, you're going to find out that you don't like the game. And that's to the space dads, to the PvPers, to the casual, to the hardcore. You're going to find out that you don't like something about this, myself included. Right? A lot of things I don't like. As they have things to develop, they have a lot less things to fucking imagine about. There's not a whole lot left here, guys. You got your planets, you got your moons, you got space stations, you got big ass distro centers, you got little ass outposts. Engineering is coming. You got mining, you got salvage. The community's starting to create little marketplaces. You have limited, grinding things. Like, a lot of the stuff that you're going to be doing and the way it kind of works is in the game now. And there's not a whole lot left to dream about. I still hear people dreaming about exploration. I'm still curious about what that's going to be, but I don't think it's going to meet any people's expectations.
They talk with developers, it's live streamed on Twitch and then goes onto YouTube. By this time last year, they'd done 15 episodes. This year, they've done 4. Video content has been CIG's main line of communication for over 10 years. It's been the main tool for Star Citizen's open development. But without regular video updates about the things the company are working on, development just feels so much less open. I put up a poll a few weeks ago, and it's pretty clear that CIG's video strategy for 2025 is not working for a lot of people. Why?
Yeah, because it was entertainment. It was copium. It kept you engaged with the project because they were showing you what was next, and you're usually not very interested on what's here now. But like, I don't know. We're only 5 minutes into a 17-minute video. Who cares? Is my first feeling. If the game is more enjoyable to play, or there's more things to do in the game, why would I want to watch a YouTube video about the game? I just want to play it. Right?
has it dried up this year? Is this some sort of strategic decision by the company? Have they decided to silence Jared? Or did this just happen by accident? Let's look at the reasons why.
Well, definitely not trying to silence Jared, I don't think. There's nothing to make
First of all,
content
let's
about.
start with this clip.
Welcome. I'm Jared, and I'm the host of Star Citizen Live, a show that we used to do every week and have only done like 4 times this year because a bunch of the people who I work with changed the very nature of our project. For the better. It's been a good year.
Well, I mean, I think that's slightly questionable, but anyway, what's he talking about? What is the change that's happened? Well, that's explained in this clip.
Looking back at 2024-25 so far, what's been the most important feature added to the game in your opinion?
Well, 2025 hasn't had a lot of features. That's the big difference this year. The big difference this year is we've cut way back on the feature work, and focused on the content work. Which is why you don't see as many ISCs and whatnot, because there just aren't that many features in development right now.
I realize that
We're fixed.
But like, you don't. This is what's bothered me so much, is you have a very expensive studio, more employees than just one, who's making less YouTube videos than your average YouTuber, significantly less, that covers the project. And you're not taking advantage of the opportunity to just let people know what's going on is weird to me. Is you don't there, like I said it at the end of my last video about the year of playability. Check that out if you haven't yet. I'm very proud of that video. Their addiction to having it have to be super cool and not just be a development update is the biggest fucking mistake that they've done when it comes to the game's development, the way they cover it, the way they handle every bit of communication. If it is not sexy, they don't do it.
Seeing the ones we have, and we're trying to close out, Squadron 42.
So that's Jared's main reason for why we've had less content this year. The focus in the company has been on fixing the features they've got, and it's also been on finishing Squadron 42. And so they've not really put any major new features into the game this year. Is that a good enough reason to shut down video content? I'm not convinced it is. And
me
I'm
neither.
going to go on to, in a minute, some suggestions of things they could cover, but that's the main reason coming out of the company itself. But there are other reasons and other things going on in the background that may be affecting the lack of content.
Oh, and before I forget, the
Puppets.
ISC team is hiring. We're looking for 2 more of the game capture folks. Those people that make the B-roll and stuff. You get to work in the most broken builds imaginable for like weeks before Evocati, and they're on NDA. So, and then you have to try to make unfinished stuff look great. It's legit some of the hardest work we've got.
In order to get ISC episodes out, obviously they have more than just Jared presenting them.
This
they
is a good
have these people
good
behind
point.
the scenes.
Maybe they don't have enough
going
people.
into, as he said, broken versions of the game and providing video footage to put up on the episodes. It's got very, very good.
Also, NDA until about 5 minutes after the patch goes out. All the notes are out, and videos and images are up on Reddit instantly. But yeah, great NDA. I don't know why we have one still. I've been fucking arguing about this for years. What's the point?
They're obviously needing more people. Now, why do they need more people? And how does this affect the amount of content that's come out this year? One of the major things that's changed this year is that they've put out behind the ship episodes. So these shorter episodes with lots of video capture are basically adverts for the ships. They have the normal trailers.
But they were doing this anyway. They were just doing this within the ISCs. This was literally just, we know we have intentions to not make any content this year for whatever reason. Again, they have so many opportunities to. And then they said, in order to spread out and actually deliver something or look like we're doing something, let's take something we were already doing anyway within the ISCs and break it out into its own thing and spread things out a little bit. I don't know.
But they are using these behind the ship episodes to promote the latest and greatest ship and to convince us to spend more of our money. That's all.
And literally, like, it's car salesman content. It's fucking crazy bad in that way.
All fine. That's part of what's got this project to where it is. But if
Yo,
they're doing
Detox,
that,
what's up, bro?
does that mean they're not working on the normal ISC episodes? Maybe. I mean, they are hiring more people. Potentially, though, it's more than that. Potentially, they are working on Squadron 42 content. Maybe the guys who are doing the motion capture stuff.
Well, aren't they doing that newsletter or whatever? I don't give a shit about that, to be honest, because the first one, all I saw was phone screen backgrounds for their first one, and I was like, all right, see you later, brother. This is fucking stupid.
Already, maybe they're now being moved over to Squadron to start the marketing for that game. Maybe they're going to produce high quality in-game capture stuff for Squadron 42. Kind of makes sense.
Good point, honestly. Like starting to prep for the commercials or whatever they're going to unveil at gaming things, like I don't even know, the Game Awards, that kind of shit.
Or even maybe CitizenCon content, which we'll go on to talk about in a moment. But it is.
But CitizenCon's only 2 hours this year, right? Like, and isn't CitizenCon like just PowerPoint presentations from other developers? I feel like CitizenCon is going to be a 2-hour ISC. They did that 2021, 2022, and then that was the excuse for not doing that many ISCs or whatever, right? Is like, you're going to get this many ISCs at CitizenCon, so calm down, don't be mad. It's probably going to be a similar thing to that, and that's fine. It's just, all I have to do is go back to 2023 and 2024 and look around and go, I just got Radiation 2 years later. Star map updates, we've gotten updates to things that I didn't see in that video, and not all the updates that I did. Okay. Armors don't do anything. The sandworm isn't quite what we saw in the video, but still kind of cool. All right, what else is missing? Lots of shit. Like way too much. And man, in the year of playability video, I did a lot of research. And I did the wrong thing. And I listened to Chris's talk at the end of that thing when he said you would get all of this and more in the next 12 months or so. And man, was that funny.
It's possible that
was
Jared's
that
team
funny
has been reduced, or potentially just is not big enough to pump out more content than they already are. Or
that's such a cop out and fucking bullshit. You don't need a big team to do a development update about what's going on in the patches right now. Hey, guys, we really need you testing these things. These are the things that we're struggling with. Oh, my God, we don't need people to do that. You just need to sit the guy in front of the fucking camera and tell people what's going on. Why do we have so many buggy things? Why do we have so many issues? Because we're not communicating clearly, like, where the problems are, what we're working on, the specific things that are really, really important to the team. Holy!
maybe Jared himself is too busy and overworked.
When does CitizenCon work start for you?
It's already we've already filmed. We've already shot part of CitizenCon Direct already. I've written. Think about these things as written, but even the live CitizenCons are written from beginning to end and whatever. So and I write those with the developers every year. We're about 70% fully written right now. We're about 15% filmed and put in just some things that we needed to do kind of early, because in order to access the people we wanted to access, we had them then. But yeah, it's underway.
Potentially that's new information to some of you. Maybe you weren't aware that Jared was so heavily involved in CitizenCon. He is.
I mean, maybe some people don't, but like, we need another 2-hour Benoit talk. What did the last one do? Right? The last one gave you some like, all right, I think they got this. And to some extent they did. They did handle a lot of the like elevator things and some of that stuff. And to other extents, it didn't do that much. Right? Yeah. They're going to talk to him again. So it's like, okay, Benoit, like the good thing about Benoit is you get kind of honesty. in terms of, hey, I heard you. That thing that is frustrating you, the way he communicates it isn't corporate, isn't walking on eggshells, right? He's kind of like, yeah, this is really bad, and we're heads down on it, right? He just like hits you with the facts. Yeah, there's no like PR talk, and it's, I don't know if it's personable necessarily, because it's like a lot of the time very technical, but it's like, hey, it's not sugar coated. It's just like, here's where we are. It's bad. We're gonna put our heads down and try and fix it. I don't, but like, not necessarily promising anything either, which is good.
He's one of the key people behind that event, and as he's saying here, he's already been working on getting the content ready for that. And so,
but this is talking about like Jared being overworked. I think that's like a tough thing to dissect or understand, because like from the outside, I imagine everyone's going to start laughing. How can this guy be overworked if he's done 4 videos this year, right? So, yeah. And then I saw what Blaze said about CCP and EVE Online. They do a really, really good job of that stuff. They have developers come on and play their game on stream every week. They sit down and do like podcast style stuff about what's going on in the game. They're doing, and it's like, let's talk about the current update, what's going on, let's share your frustrations. CIG does a lot of this stuff too. The difference between Star Citizen and EVE is EVE, you have a finished game. Star Citizen, you don't. So Star Citizen is constantly talking about how they're going to fix something. They're going to put something in. This will fix that. We're not fixing this because we have the, and those are the conversations. It's more game development conversation and not game conversation. Star Citizen cannot do what EVE is doing because they don't have a game. They could in the future, but I think Star Citizen has to focus their content on what is going on right now and, address the elephants in the room of issues more often and not laugh about them, and be serious about them, talk about them and how they're going to deal with it, and what we could do to help at the same time, right?
This man is very busy. He's not just sitting there doing some live streams every week and making 1 video a week. I think he's super, super busy. When I actually went to the studio back at CitizenCon last year, I did the studio tour. He's the guy doing the studio tours. Now, you got to remember, in that example there, he had done all of the hosting and all the preparation, I suppose, and all the getting ready of the actual CitizenCon that we'd just been to. And then after that, he immediately ran over to the studio and then did back-to-back studio tours for loads of people. And so this man is busy, and he's obviously very important to the overall project. Is he too busy? I mean, my impression with him is that he loves all this stuff. He loves probably doing the studio tours. He probably loves getting up on stage and hosting all the CitizenCon stuff, and he loves basically everything. Potentially, he's one of those more kind of workaholic type people, and sometimes...
Yeah, I don't think he's too busy. I think he takes on probably more than he should.
That's okay.
I live with one of those. I know how that goes.
But is he too busy this year to actually push the normal video content out the door? Or potentially it's more a creative kind of overwhelm? I mean, I try to make 1 video a week, and sometimes that feels exhausting. When you look at the amount of content that this man has put out for...
Yeah, but you have a job, right? Like, you go to work every day and already do that. I do wonder if he's unwilling to hand over some of his job to a new face of the community. No, I mean, like, Detox, I'm sure you've interacted with Jared before, and I mean, I certainly have. He takes ownership over what he works on, and almost Smeagol level ownership, right? If it's not good, he's going to be the one to fix it. I'm thinking back to 2016 Gamescom. I'll never forget this. I gained a massive amount of respect for this man in that moment, and I already had a ton at the time. There was something weird with the recording or the live stream where, because we were in Europe, there were like lines on the screen or something. I can't remember what it was called. Some weird way that European video is transmitted versus North American video or something. I don't know. And we had just been, like, they had just unveiled procedural planets. And it was a huge, long day. And the format of the video was not right to post on YouTube. And instead of going to sleep, he was, I could see the room, because after the event, like, this was like one of the bigger moments in my Star Citizen career that I believed in this moment more than ever, that the people working on this cared as much as I did. I don't know if I believe that anymore, but it was right before this, because I was just up there having a drink. It was like the break room. And it was Chris, Aaron, maybe Benoit. I think Benoit was there. Ortwin. I think that's it. And they were like just celebrating that they did it. They were so happy at the way the event went. And immediately after that, Jared was on the computer right next to them, head down, fixing that thing, getting it done. Think back to just last year. Squadron 42 demo goes horrible. Rich Tyrer goes back to the studio, immediately records a better version of it. Right? Like, a lot of these guys really care, really care, and take insane ownership of what they do. Benoit, Gamescom 2016. Yeah, I don't think you understand how long Benoit's actually been around. This is not a bit like, he's not a recent addition to the project. He has been an asset to Star Citizen for a really long time. Benoit, him and I were in that break room together alone at one point, and he just shook my hand, asked me who I was, or something like that, and was just very kind. Yeah, they'd done the website forever, and yeah, he was a huge part back then, right? And just not as big as he is now, but yeah, he was always there.
Star Citizen, as he says in this Reddit post, it's over 1,200 videos that he's overseen for this project. It must get to a point where creating videos every week, or multiple videos in some cases for him, it must get really challenging. It must be creatively and kind of mentally really exhausting to just keep pumping out content. And so there are questions around whether he needs some more help behind the scenes. I mean, we're speculating here. How can we really know? But he might be.
Again, I think the challenge is that the game isn't imagination anymore. There's a lot of the game in the game now. And well, Detox is in chat. I mean, God, Detox, how many times have we spoken over the years about the type of content that you're making so successfully today? That it was just very difficult to do back then. The reason that it's hard for Jared to make content now is Jared has made content that requires the viewer to imagine what they're going to do in the game with this spaceship, with this location. But now you actually have people like Detox making content in the game of what you can do and what you're doing, right? And now Jared's having a hard time because he might actually have to play the game or be more focused on what is already there and not what is coming. And I think that's why. I mean, like, most of this video is focused on the video content. If you can't tell, it's less about the communication, because devs communicate every day. It's why does Star Citizen feel like it's not open development? I talked about this at the beginning of the live stream today about how frustrating it is to cover Star Citizen. To make a weekend review video every week, I have to spend hours finding developers on Spectrum, YouTube, Twitch comments, Reddit comments, Twitter comments. Nothing is in one place. Nothing is in one place where it's just like, oh, where do I find out what's going on with Star Citizen? Who the fuck knows anymore? It is open. The devs are still openly talking about it. They're just talking about it like hidden in a Discord somewhere now.
Maxed out creatively. So is it time for some new presenting blood? Jared has been making content for a long time. His knowledge and understanding of the development would be almost impossible to replace at this stage. He's been there for so long.
Whose Discord? A bunch of random Discords.
Meetings.
It's
he just knows what's
fucking
going
brutal.
on. He has a really good grip of what's happening. But would it be crazy to get somebody in who can lighten his load a little bit? Maybe somebody who can host things like Star Citizen Live or do some of the linking segments.
He would never give that up.
Again, I'm pretty sure he loves all that stuff. But
he would never give it up.
He has himself become a bottleneck for the content.
Exactly, Detox. I try.
New faces could help. Potentially, like we said, though, it isn't the on-camera stuff that's the bottleneck, but maybe just the energy to keep being creative and keep coming up with new ideas. We're going to help him out. You can suggest more stuff in the comments. I'm going to run through some things now that I think maybe they should look at as kind of content ideas. This might not be the issue at all, but we're going to throw out what we think anyway. So, obviously, the main thing that you might be thinking is, why can we not have some video update stuff on Squadron 42? Well,
nah, fuck that.
They, a long time ago, just basically decided that they were going to keep that as spoiler-free as possible. Now, at various points, they've shown little bits. They've put out occasional episodes and then...
Oh, fuck, remember this shit? This was the worst idea ever, bro. What was this called? What was this dumbass video called? Oh my god, the briefing room. That's right. This was so frustrating. What was this station? This was Asiedo or something, right? The video itself was whatever. The reason this was so bad, yeah, I think it had the pinging and stealth and stuff like that in it. This video was so bad because they were like, we're giving you a Squadron 42 update, guys. And then they walked around in an art asset. And it was just like, fuck this, man.
Stopped. Like, they haven't really ever quite got off the ground with Squadron 42
Like, this game's
marketing.
a scam.
And like I said, that might be what's going on in the background. They might be preparing Squadron 42 marketing. But
then they did
they're
this.
not going to do this in normal ISC episodes. That's just not going to happen. But
Right?
there are a number of
different.
things they could do. So we had a Star Citizen Live episode all about earning. And this was effectively a very long version of Calling All Devs. They had different people, they asked them a few questions, and then they moved on to somebody else. That was what Calling All Devs used to be. And I would argue that that Star Citizen Live episode was probably the best content they put out all 2025.
100%. 100%. But it also, again, focused on content that we have no clue when it's coming, will likely create ideas in players' minds that are not reality, and the only thing we got was a cluttered UI of a inventory that, I don't know if you guys remember 2023 CitizenCon, they showed, or even I think even in the Squadron demo stuff, like interacting with inventory in those demos was snappy as fuck and really smooth. So do people really have an issue with the UI itself, or how crappy it is to deal with, right?
Small updates about lots of different things. That, in
I think
my
it's
opinion,
more how
should be
crappy
a
it is to
regular
deal with.
ISC type episode. We want to know what's happening. We want all the updates that we can get. And so far this year, like we've been saying, there's been almost none. Sprint reports were another popular episode that they used to do. Again, it's basically the same thing. Quick updates about what was going on in the project, updates on things that we already know about. It just used to work really well. But what about an update on engineering? Now, we had an unofficial update on engineering from Con42. So Torsten, who is the guy behind all this stuff, the engineer.
Again, fucking ridiculous. Why is this at a player run convention. Like, it's sweet that it is. Like, this is cool. But why couldn't it be done in a place that the community can hear it more regularly? Right?
Stuff to the German community, did a fairly extensive update in an interview panel and told people what was happening. That information should probably have been on an ISC. And so we don't know when it's coming. They've said soon, but there must be some stuff that they can talk about in terms of engineering. And then there's...
And not just talk about, but show. Show and tell. And it's weird that they're not doing that.
Little thing.
And like they keep saying, you know, oh, tech preview, what the fuck? The game would be feel more open development if we had tech preview channels like they said they were going to do. I didn't even mention that in my year of playability video because I thought it was kind of off topic on the year of playability. Because the whole idea here was you were not going to put engineering into the live build or whatever, right? So if you just don't do anything at all, it's the same functional experience of having a tech preview channel, so it just didn't make any sense.
Visual things that they could do. An update on their work on ray tracing. They've been working on ray tracing for a couple of years now. There must be some visuals that they can show us in terms of update. There's so many things in this project. It's such a wide project. There must be enough to get more content out of the door.
I don't know, Detox.
Now, ships, everybody loves ships. CIG loves selling ships.
I think it's just
easier. It would be mad to have some short updates for some of the ships that they've announced they're working on this year. So we obviously know from the month.
Yeah. This is a really good point. Show the work in progress stuff, I guess. But again, they probably want to save that for their little car salesman videos.
Reports that they're working on ships like the Gatak Raylan, which is now in pre-production. The Ironclad is moving through certain stages of development. Even things like the Apollo Medevac and Triage, and the big one may be the RSI Perseus as well. It wouldn't be crazy, and they've done it plenty of times in the past, it wouldn't be crazy just to have an ISC episode just looking at where these ships are at the various stages they are. Just a little bit of video showing the updates, a bit of in-game, potentially in-engine stuff, where they are at. A nice little episode about that. That's one thing.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you as a backer who likes to follow the project regularly. I think that would take away from the, like, I think one of the things, and I think the funding definitely shows that this works, is the kind of like surprise. Oh, new thing. Check it out. This is what it does. I think has worked. So I don't think they want to go away from that as much as I agree with him here. I think it's too effective, and that's the way they make money. That's one thing that they're not going to fuck with, I don't think.
It is worth.
Have they actually done any work on features currently in the game, like bug fixing, improving, mining salvage, etc.? Or has it all just been fixing stuff for the current events like Hathor, for example? I mean, they're not going to tell us that, but I think it's pretty obvious if you look at what's gone on. Just go look at the patch notes. Most bugs are fixing current issues with the things that they put in, which is exactly what the letter from the chairman said would not happen. Right?
Saying at this point that this video isn't meant as some sort of personal attack on Disco Lando himself. He, more than anyone, I think, has been the key person that has made Star Citizen's development actually feel open over the years.
Yes.
He was a backer before he was a CIG employee, and his love for the project has made him the perfect person to show us behind the scenes for so many. And
this is a little bit of a knock on him because it's really funny. It's like ironic. He is he loves the camera, but at the same time, he loves putting the focus off of himself onto the people who make the game, but also loves the camera at the same. I think he's done a decent job of that balance of he's a performer, loves that shit. I guess just saying loves the camera is the best way to put it. And then, but at the same time, making it about the other people as well? Like, how many devs do you know kind of on a first name basis now, even though you don't know them and you think you know them because they've been highlighted so much, right?
Yes. As
And
we
so
covered
well.
there are just many reasons why the video content and open development has dried up this year. It's
Sure, he gets a scratch from his performance while supporting a game and he will one day play. I don't think he's going to play. I'm going to be honest. I don't think he's going to play.
not like it's just his fault. But the video content drying up this year is a problem. There are many different types of people following this game. For a lot of people, the thing that keeps them interested, engaged with the project, is the idea that this is all heading somewhere. Last year at CitizenCon, the yearly convention that CIG holds, the company laid out its long-term plan, 1.0, and it's going to be a long journey to get there. But in my opinion, CIG has to return to regular and open video content as we go on that long journey. Speaking just for myself, without those regular weekly updates that we've had for over 10 years now, I found myself less engaged with the project this year. I've played the game less, I've played other...
Okay, I've played the game more, but I found myself less interested in the project?
Games a lot more. And to a certain extent, maybe that's healthy. It's probably quite a good
definitely
thing
healthy
for a lot of people to do, to take a break from Star Citizen. But I imagine CIG doesn't want people taking extended breaks. Star Citizen's open development over the last 13 years has been one of the reasons why people have spent $800 million on this game. The weekly video updates have kept people interested even when the game itself hasn't been that interesting. The regular peeks behind the curtain have been a great hype machine. CIG don't really want people to take extended breaks from following along, because if they're
But what is there to hype?
not engaged, they won't buy ships and CIG will make less money, and well, ultimately, that's not good for the company or the project. So, CIG, my request is that you give Jared whatever he needs. More team, a sidekick presenter, less responsibilities, whatever he needs to make the video content great again. Bring back open development, let us be excited, give us something to talk about on a weekly basis.
At the end, he says, bring back open development. I don't think it's gone. I don't think it's gone. It's just the only thing that they were open about was new features. And now the open development still exists on places like Spectrum. Devs talk on Discords. Devs talk on Reddit. It's just, what is there to be open about when you're just turning cargo into a freight elevator, right? I think he's going to feel less like they're closed off the moment we have this Benoit interview, because Benoit, again, like we had said earlier, is very just open, honest, down to earth, and he's just going to talk about everything that we're dealing with right now that we don't like, maybe some things that we do like, and it'll feel really open. But it's not Jared's job to make the game look like it's making meaningful progress when it isn't, right? When is Benoit interviewing? I'm out of the loop. We're all out of the loop on that. We just know it's upcoming probably in the next week or so. Not this week. That's all we know. But yeah, so having Ben replace Chris, basically, of like, oh, I need to hear from Chris, is the best move that they've done in a while. Having him replace Todd Pappy, who was just saying we'll work on it kind of thing, it has been good as well. I think Rich probably learned his lesson that he said a bit too much. I'll never forget the moments he came in my Twitch chat and said he hates pay to win. Meanwhile, signing off on some of the most pay to win garbage I've ever seen in video game history. Well, seemingly sign off. I actually don't know anything about him and what he controls and what he doesn't. But never forget Flight Blades. Right. And yeah, so that's where, I mean, bang, light bulb. Not a lot of open development on what happened with Flight Blades. Not a lot of talk on that. And that is like a specific game function that is really interesting, that people would engage with, But I don't think they ever looked at it as a game function. I think they looked at it as a marketing tactic and got punched in the face by the community. And yeah, I don't know. Then they just went completely silent on it. Part of being open, in my opinion, is when you fuck up, you own it. And nobody really owned that. Right? In my previous career in the casino industry, I got along, believe it or not, chat, believe it or not, because most people in this community don't like me. Everyone liked me in that one. Because when you mess up, when I messed up, I apologized. Oops, my bad. Totally, yep, I understand. My bad. Won't happen again. I see what I did wrong there. I will not do that again. Like, come to the table, make the complete wrong decision, cost somebody money by accident, come back and go, listen, when you make a decision, you can't change it. But I apologize. So here's what I'll do for you. You know, I'll get you a drink, do this or whatever, and just let you know that I messed up. And that goes such a long way. And CIG has very rarely been open in that way. They'll laugh about the delays. They'll make jokes about it. But they're literal, like, in a lot of ways, like pirate software. It's like, it's everybody else's fault. It's everyone else's fault. It's the community's fault. Because we don't test enough. It's the roadmap watcher comment. Remember that? Like a while back? Like those kind of things. They've been historically so bad about that. You want to bring back open development? You want to actually be open? Yeah, man. We fucked up on Flight Blades. Here's what we're planning to do with them in the future. We'll make it up to you. Boom. Everyone, I don't think people would know what to do with that information. I think most people would be like, I don't believe you. Right? But then CIG just has to do it, and then you start believing them. But they don't do that. They are and have become what they were meant to destroy. EA, Blizzard, and the like. And it's never going to change. It's only going to get worse. Period.